First thing we're going to do is add in the custom component browser mod from Hacks. It's a bit more of a simplified version of Fully Kiosk, but it prevents us from having to use a separate third-party app on our tablet, and it also fits our needs from what I'm implementing to Home Assistant on this video. Once it's downloaded, go and restart Home Assistant. When you're back online, go to Devices and Services, add a new integration and search for Browser Mod. If you don't see Browser Mod, then you'll need to clear your cache on your web browser or Home Assistant app. From here, I'm going to add a new Home Assistant user specifically for the tablet I'm using. We will later be able to tweak and adjust Home Assistant user interface settings specifically for this new user. Over on the tablet, if you haven't already, download the Home Assistant companion app and log into your Home Assistant instance with the new user credentials we've created. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the interface to my own preference. While I'm here, I'm also going to adjust what links are visible in the sidebar. This doesn't matter too much, as I'll be removing the tablet's access from the sidebar later on using the browser mod, as well as setting the default dashboard. Next, go into Browser Mod, enter a name in the browser ID so you can easily identify the tablet within Browser Mod, and switch on the register toggle. I'm not doing this today, but you also have the option to enable the tablet's front camera and use it as a motion sensor. When you've completed those two tasks, refresh Home Assistant by closing and reopening the app. Back on the web browser, go to the Devices and Services page, and within the browser mod, you should now be able to identify the tablet. To test this as the correct device, turn the screen toggle off and see if the tablet's display turns black. Next, go to Browser Mod on the side panel. You'll be able to see there's a number of different tweaks and adjustments we could make to the tablet. All we're interested in for now is hiding the header and side panel. You'll have the option to either tweak each setting per a specific device or per a specific user. On this example, I'll be hiding the header and the sidebar from the new tablet user we created. This is an example of what the tablet looks like with the sidebar and header enabled, and the sidebar and header disabled. Now we need to create our new dashboard. Start by going into Settings, Dashboard and add a new dashboard. Go to the top right of the page, edit dashboard, and enable start with an empty dashboard. To change the background of this dashboard with a custom image, we first need to upload the image to HassAssistant using a file editor add-on. The file needs to be uploaded anywhere within the www folder. To do this in Visual Studio Editor, just right-click on the folder and click Upload. To add the image to our dashboard, click on Edit Dashboard and go to Raw Configuration Editor. Add in the following line of code, which I will have linked in the description. The URL will need to point to the www folder. This is done by using local, then direct the URL further to the image location. Click Save, and if done correctly, you should now have a new background image. The next step is including the custom component layout card from Hacks. This will adjust the layout of the dashboard tile to how we want it positioned. Check out my previous video where I go into this in more detail. The areas I'll be using will have two margins on the left and right sides of the dashboard, a header and 3 columns. Make a note of the naming convention you use here for later on. On the template columns, I've defined my margins to take up 9.5% of the dashboard width, and everything else will take up 27% of the dashboard width. Before recording this video, I added in HassAssistant's date and time integration. This is so I can add an analog clock within the header of my dashboard. I'll leave a link in the description of the code used to add in this integration. After adding in the integration and restarting HassAssistant, go to Developer Tools, search for sensor.time, and you should see an entity showing the current local time. I'm going to copy this entity for use in my header. The card I'll use for this header is a horizontal stack card. In the stack, I'm firstly going to add a weather card. Next, I'm adding a markdown card, which will be used to pull the captured data from our time sensor. Now I just need to add style to the content so it's centered, in bold, and the correct font size. To add a few line breaks, you can use BR within the content. From here, I'm going to add code to tell the tile where it's going to be positioned on our dashboard. I'm also going to remove the default background of the tile using the custom component card mod, which you can download from Hacks. Again, I go into this in more detail on my previous video. I'll have the code used here in the video description. For the view layout, the position of this tile is going to be my header. The name I defined for the header in the grid area is H1. Moving on to the first column, I'm going to download the custom button card from HassAssistant. This will give me more options to play with when I'm creating a button card. Each of the buttons used in my columns will be contained within a grid card. The custom button card doesn't have a user interface and can only be done via YAML, so I'll have the code I used in the video linked in the description. The section Colour will change the colour of the icon. For this I used hex colour code. Aspect ratio changes the size of the tile. The tap action I'm using is navigate. This will navigate us to the respective dashboards. In this case, a dashboard containing our cameras. With styles, you can adjust minor settings such as the card's background colour and font size. And then the Styles section enables you to add custom CSS code. Here I'm adjusting the border radius, which will make the card more rounded in shape, and the opacity, which will make the card transparent. Now I just need to tell the tile where it needs to be on the dashboard using view layout. The name I used for this first column is C1. All the buttons will look similar to this, so all I'll need to do is copy and paste the code and adjust the icon, name and the navigate URL. The final two columns will mimic these two buttons. Instead of adding a new card, I can just duplicate this first column and change the grid area. Then all that I'll need to change again is the name, icon and navigate URL. Now the home dashboard is complete, all I'd need to do is add separate dashboards for the corresponding buttons. I'll add a simple dashboard for the cameras just so you can see how this would look. This is the URL I'd copy and paste for the Tap Action Navigate URL within the Cameras button we created. So now when you click on the Cameras button, it will take you to the Cameras dashboard. To finish off, I'm just going to add a Home button on the Cameras dashboard, which will be our way of going back to the home page. So here I'm just copying the home page URL, which I'll need for the Tap Action Navigate URL. This is going to be a very simple button, but it's going to show you how to add the Tap Action Navigate URL using the Lovelace UI. Back on Browser Mod, I'm going to specify the default dashboard on our tablet to be the newly created dashboard. Now we have the dashboard how we want it and working how it needs to work. Let's see how it looks on the tablet. Thanks for watching. As always, if you found this video helpful, a thumbs up on the video would be greatly appreciated, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with newly released content.